many times. And where are we getting all this money for these stimuluses that Obama's doing? From China. Segment 5 of the series on Bob Lutz involvement in the destruction of the trade towers and the subsequent economic demise to set up the world for electric cars. Okay. Go ahead and start from the beginning. The reason I know this is back in 2001, in July, I had a vision. I was overlooking a vast chasm. It was dark. There were two crags of rock next to each other, equal height, black crags. There was a river of clouds going in between them. And then I was removed and I was in a desert. And there was a dune. I was completely sober. There was a dune, and there was a man on a horse, a brown horse, and he had one of those Afghani kind of garbs on where they have that covers their face, and it's red. And I heard a voice, not coming from the man, it seemed from God. And I didn't understand what it said. And then the man on the horse was halfway again closer to me, and the voice was louder. I thought it said lost. I said, did he just say lost? And the man was in my face, and I heard very clearly the voice spoke, Lutz. I called I didn't know what all this meant. Oh wait, finish. I was back in my room, and I heard the roar of a jet, and the sense of it crashing into a building, a skyscraper. And then I heard, or felt, I sensed people burning and dying, and screaming, turmoil. It was awful, but I didn't know what all it meant. Then the trade towers were hit, and it just clicked. It was obvious. The two crags with the trade towers, the river of clouds. Someone actually told me later that the clouds that go between the trade towers are called a river of clouds. And Afghanis were supposedly the Al-Qaeda. And that, they were obviously a jet crashing into a skyscraper. I mean, it clicked. It was obvious. So I called the FBI. I was in Lexington, Kentucky at the time. I called the FBI in Louisville, the closest station, and I told him about the vision. I asked him if there was any department that handled supernatural or clairvoyant type things, and they said there wasn't. I found out later there are, because I've talked to many FBI agents over the last year, and I've actually talked to a PSYOPs agent. And they were one of the only ones that really took me seriously, were straightforward. And they do take me seriously because my number's flagged at a lot of the stations. And the PSYOPs agent told me that they would know exactly where the file I sent them was and who had it. But they always act like they have no idea. They have no idea where it is. And they can't find it. They can't possibly. How could they? They're the FBI. There's huge. There's 400 agents. How are we going to know where your file is? You're the FBI. You file things. You keep track of things. They're snowing me. But anyway, after I called the FBI in Louisville, and they neglected to help, I said about finding out who Lutz was or what Lutz was, and around the same time, a friend of mine had a dream. He said it felt prophetic. He's pretty versed in discernment. So, and it had a street sign that said Lutz. This was before we had talked about my vision. Or maybe before I had the vision. I don't remember. But it didn't influence it. I mean, was 2 months before the trade towers had hit, and it's obviously indicating the trade towers being hit. But anyway, I researched and found out all this information that I've told you in these videos, and I sent in a 20-page report. I talked to Mark Lutz, Bob Lutz's brother, on the phone, and I recorded the conversation. I sent the disc with the file. And I had a couple more phone conversations since I put the file together, from delving into the battery and its manufacture, and lithium-ion batteries and everything. But the FBI, they aren't helping. So this is why I'm putting this stuff on YouTube, to see if I can at least spread the word, because it is true. I know it is. It adds up too well. And I got it from, the visions came 2 months prior. It was the voice of God, said Lutz. So, and then it happened. So, there's no doubt in my mind